Escoffier is the brand new character coming to Genshin Impact for version 5.6, and she is the savior of freeze that we have all been waiting for. So in this video, we're going to talk about her build and pre-farming guide, talk about which carries she is worth getting for, to help you decide if you should get her, and how to make the most out of her if you do. Welcome to Jello Impact, where we build and test every single character to help you decide who you want to wish for and build. For pre-farming, look no further. For one single time in your life, you don't have to kill seals to build this character. You can use the bajillion gears that you already have, thank God. You gotta farm some conches. They're really not that bad. I went from 100 to 170 before I even realized it. Cryo gems. I'm literally out of gems, guys. I'm gonna have to start farming bosses just for gems. I'm so pissed. She'll need a new boss material. She uses the Jesus teachings and the brand newest boss. I'm going to crown her skill. She does a lot of damage, so I think she deserves it. I'm gonna level her skill, leave her normals at 1, and take her burst to 9, so we get lots of Farina healing, but I'm not gonna waste crowns and Mora doing the burst. And I'm gonna take her to 90 because she deserves it. You can leave her at 89 or even 80, but her damage is really significant, so I would at least consider 9ing her skill at the very least. Her damage is honestly huge. Just for those who are unaware, to explain how her kit works in the most simple terms, have Cryo and Hydro in the party get a 55% resistance shred. For each Cryo or Hydro you take away, the resistance shred of those elements goes down to 15, 10, and 5. Her skill is a turret that does single target damage. It follows you around. Her burst is a big single target healing and then heals your active character ongoing. Think of her as Chevreuse, Emily, and Kazuha, all built into one character. Wow. But since Cryo and Hydro teams are so bad, this really overtuned kit works well with the current balance of the game and makes Cryo Hydro teams very strong, but not totally blowing the ceiling off the DPS. As a result, I think she's actually perfectly balanced. It will feel good to get her. She'll bring the relevant carries up to the right level, but she doesn't take broken units into a whole new stratosphere. I overall honestly think she's perfectly designed. I know some people are complaining about her. I don't see it. I think it's great. And no, it's not just because I'm biased because I like the character. Even if I like a character, I still work hard to be very impartial. I don't care whether a character is good or bad, whether I like them or don't like them. I talk it how I see it because that's the whole point of this channel, but I also want to be excited about who I'm excited about. So if I like a character, you got to deal with it. That's the deal you and I are making here. Capiche? Okay. Also, you do not need to freeze the enemy for her stuff to work, any of it. You don't need freeze to get her shred. You don't need to freeze to get anything. I think this is a bit of a missed opportunity. I think it would have been cool to see her change the freeze reaction. Maybe you can freeze bosses. Maybe she allows you to freeze them. Maybe she just slows bosses down. I think this would have been a cool opportunity for that, some sort of Nilou type effect, but alas, at least her kit still functions without freeze, unlike someone like Fremine who can't shatter bosses and therefore can't use half his kit, or not half, but you know. So that's Escoffier. There's obviously, you could go into way more detail about her talents, but that's all you actually need to know to play her. For her build guide, you're going to want to use Golden Troop, Attack Sands, ER Sands on certain teams, Cryo Goblet, Attack Goblet is viable, especially on teams that don't use Shenhe, and crit damage or crit rate circlet, probably crit damage, since she gives herself crit rate from her ascension. If you don't want to use Golden Troop, if you don't have it, whatever, you can use Blizzard Strayer as well. It will be very slightly better against enemies that can be frozen and worse when enemies can't, so Golden Troop is just the safer choice overall, and it's pretty much just as good as Blizzard Strayer, even if you can freeze the enemy, so just go with Golden Troop. She does all her damage skill damage, so it just makes sense. For era requirements, it's going to vary between 115 on the low end and like 200 plus on the high end. So you'll just have to go by the team as to how much ER. I'll probably include it when I actually test all the teams. I'll probably include the ER estimations on the team, but basically start out with attack, cryo, crit, and then add in, you know, Favlance or ER Sands or whatever as needed. For weapons, her signature will be the best. This is not her signature, but obviously her signature will be the best. It not only gives her attack, but it also buffs the team's attack. It's also going to be the best in slot polearm for Chevreuse, which is pretty cool. Otherwise, you can just use other damaging stat sticks like Staff of Homa, Calamity Queller. If you need ER, Engulfing Lightning or Favonius Lance are going to be great. Basically, what you're looking for here is weapons that give a high base attack, since her healing is based on attack, And the main focus of her kit is, yes, to heal, but also to do damage, so the high base attack also helps with that. In this vein, something like the Skyward Spine is also very good, because if you're on a team that needs energy, Skyward Spine provides energy with a high base attack, which is good for her healing and damage, so that's kind of the main thing. For free-to-play weapons, she doesn't necessarily have that many amazing options. None of the craftable weapons in the game really give attack currently. I would expect possibly a free weapon at some point to synergize with her, but as of now, if you played the Missive Windspear event a little while ago, the Inazuman Lamp polearm from a little bit ago is alright, but she is the kind of character that does want damage, so if you don't have something like the Deathmatch or one of the 5-star options, she will likely feel quite a bit worse than if you do, since her damage is so relevant. Basically all the usual stat sticks that you'd expect. Something like the Catch, not going to be as good because it's elemental burst damage and she does all elemental skill damage, so just keep an eye on things like that. Do I still not have R5 Ravebreakers? Oh, I do. Okay, just before I forget. Why do I have no more? So that is her build guide. Moving on to teams. I've put it all together right here for you. When should you get Escoffier? Well, if your character shows up in this best in slot list, you need to basically get Escoffier for your character. Ayaka is the biggest winner. She goes from like a 60k or 65k DPS team to like 100k DPS. So it's a massive, 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 massive increase for Ayaka. I am so excited. I'm so excited for Shenhe teams to be buffed. Escoffier is so good that just the Escoffier wheelchair core, which looks something like this, basically either Shenhe or Yelan, is just going to be so good that you can kind of run whatever you want. And any cryo or hydro character that doesn't have a better team is going to be better here. Farina is almost a must to make these teams feel good. I will test them without that, but I honestly, people sort of just assume that you have Farina. It was 97% of people said they had Farina in the Abyss stats checker thing, and when I did the poll it was 88%, which is still frankly ridiculously high. So if you have Farina, which most of you do, Escoffier is going to make a lot of different team comps viable. And so if you're someone who either likes hydro crowd characters or you just want to play a variety of teams, Farina Escoffier is going to be a really cool core that will just feel good at a baseline, just very plug and play. Put it together, put any 4 units that are hydro and cryo together, and you got yourself a solid team. Obviously, the worse damage a character does, the more they're going to be carried. So someone like Ayato, someone like Aloy, they're going to be hella carried by this wheelchair core, whereas someone like Ayaka is doing more contributing. Based on the pre-release info that we have for Skirk right now, it's looking like she will really, 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 really want Escoffier. So if you're planning on getting Skirk, I really highly recommend getting Escoffier first. It's going to be pretty much essential. I think there's lots of really fun mix and matching that you can do, but it's mostly going to be these two, either Yelan or Shenhe, and then another character. I'm excited to try Chongyun. I'm excited to try Rosaria. I'm excited to try Wriothesley, Ayaka. I'm excited to even do an Aloy clear for once in my life. It's going to be exciting. A lot of people are hyped for Neuvillette. I won't harp on it too much, but just remember that if you are going to go for this team for Neuvillette, that you do need Citlali to make it work properly. So that might steal your Citlali from your Moika, your Gaming, your Arlecchino, or whoever. But if you have Citlali and she's free, then this will be probably an upgrade for your Neuvillette. If you have Constellation 1 and Refinement 1 of his weapon, it's possible it will only be a side grade and not an upgrade, because the more you focus on his personal damage, the more his hyper carry team works better. And this team is kind of makes his C1 pretty bad, like in terms of the extra draconic stack. So if you're a high investment Neuvillette player, this isn't maybe the best, but if you're a low investment Neuvillette player, which I know about half of you are, because I did a poll on that as well, about half of you who have Neuvillette, just over half, have him C0, R0. And if you guys have Citlali as well, then this might be a nice team for you. It's shielded, it's comfy, it has freeze, it's nice, it should be great. Characters like Ganyu, it should still be best in slot for her over her melt stuff, especially because her melt stuff is hard to play. I really think that Mizuki carry is going to you obviously lose the extra stacks for Mizuki carry, but this is a team that doesn't require normal attacks, and so it's a turret character, right? So that's why I think I think this could be a little bit better. I'm not sure. Who do you use as the fourth? Ideally, you want it to be someone who does damage. Maybe it's Lali. Oh god, it's so bad. It's so horrible, bro. Other characters that don't have synergy, but it's kind of best in slot because it'll wheelchair them. Candace, Charlotte, she's a cryo healer, but like build her for damage and take pictures to kill your enemies. Like, it's a strong wheelchair will be a strong core. So like you can do this and it'll be everyone's dying. That sounds like pretty hilarious. I'll definitely try that. You know, wheelchair Wanderer. Wanderer doesn't have that good of teammates that are got that synergistic for him. So, you know, this or Farzan or whatever. If you don't have Farzan, this is gonna be way better than what else you have. It's gonna be Kokomi's new best, better than Kazuha. It's gonna be Eula's, but obviously like all of these are stupid, right? They don't make any sense, but it will still be technically best in slot. Other than wheelchair, you've got melt, so Moika with this as a melt, it will work. I will try it. We'll see how it compares to Lali. It's probably going to be worse, but she's doing some damage, so at least that. Same with Arlecchino. Probably the melts won't be as easy. And then works, I guess. Chaska stuff, Shao stuff, Mualani stuff. It works. Like, it should work, but I doubt it'll be anything worth writing home about. Is all a good option for any of these characters. I don't really know what Daon is doing here, but she's cryo, so she can be on the team, I guess. Hu Tao, you know, does too much pyro. Where's yoimiya? She can go up here. I think that I've always thought it'd be so cool if C6 Chevreuse was a C0 5-star instead of a C6 4-star. I've always thought that that would be way better and way more accessible because you can just guarantee it. And so that I'm happy with Escoffier doing what she's doing and being here. Do I recommend pulling for her? Look at these teams, see if you like them, you know, see if they feel good to you, and I will let you know when I test them, when I play them, how it feels to use the proper, you know, wheelchair core or the proper team, you know, like this or like this, and I'll let you know how it feels to go Chongyun instead of Ayaka, or to go, you know, Chongyun Yilan, or to just totally be carried and use Charlotte and see how good it is. Can you finally run Charlotte on field and pretend she's killing the enemy by exposing their dark secrets and blackmailing them? I think it sounds really fun. I like the team options she brings. She brings new team options that we've never seen before, and I like that. That's the spice of life for me in Genshin. So even though she's restrictive, she can technically work with all these other teams as well. And there's probably a bunch that I'm not even thinking of. Like, I'm sure you can wheelchair and think about a whole bunch of other different stuff that Escoffier could do as well. And let me know any cool ideas you have. Please subscribe if you're enjoying the videos and you're excited to see me test Escoffier. And if you don't want to do that, that's totally fine. Just watching the video has been more than enough. Thanks so much. Bye for now.